And thank you, Chair. Thank you all.
You have 30 seconds left. Thank you, Delegate of Turkey and Delegate of China. You may have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Dear Chair and delegates, the delegate of China thinks that human trafficking is a very serious issue that must be solved urgently. However, we believe that there is not going to be a solution that is both quick and effective. Therefore, China suggests that we should separate this problem into different parts and categorize solutions into short and long term. China hopes that we can further discuss this idea in a moderated caucus later, and we desperately need to hear our nation's opinions. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate of China. You have 40 seconds left. How would you like to use your time?
Yeah, to comment.
Delegate of China, open up yourself for comment. And delegate who would like to comment, please raise your placard. Yes, Delegate of South Africa, may comment. And volunteers, microphone please. May speak now, Delegate.
South Africa strongly agrees with this method of carrying the solutions out, because it brings the problem into a smaller parts, which we believe is easier for nations to find answers to each. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate of South Africa and second Delegate of China. Before we move on to the next delegate, are there any motions or any points on the floor? Yes, Delegate of Canada.
Motion for a 5-minute moderate caucus on the topic of discussion on the possibility of a database, and each delegate will have 1 minute.
Thank you, Delegate. The Delegate of Canada motion for a 5-minute moderated caucus on the topic of discussion on the possibility of a database. Each delegate will speak for 1 minute. Before we vote for this motion, are there any more motions or any points on the floor? Delegate of Spain.
A motion for a moderated caucus to discuss about solutions to periodic tasks. And the total time will be 3 minutes. And each delegate has 1 minute to address their speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate of Spain. The Delegate of Spain motion for a moderated caucus to discuss about solutions to periodic tasks. The total time will be 3 minutes, and each delegate will have 1 minute. Are there any more motions or any points on the floor? Yes, Delegate of Russian Federation.
Motion for a 5-minute moderated caucus to form country blocks.
Thank you, Delegate of Russian Federation. The Delegate of Russian Federation motion for a 5-minute unmoderated caucus to form country blocks. Before we move to the voting procedures, are there any more motions or any points on the floor? Seeing none, we'll now go through the voting procedures. And according to the ROP, Rule of Procedures, we should always vote from the most disruptive motion, which is the unmoderated caucus sent by Russian Federation. Now, delegate who would like to vote for this motion, a motion sent by Russian Federation, a 5-minute unmoderated caucus to form country blocks, please raise your placard. We need a simple majority, and this is a procedural vote, so every delegate has to vote. This motion failed. And now we'll move to the next motion. The Delegate of Canada motion for a 5-minute moderated caucus. And the topic is the discussion of the possibility of a database. And delegate who would like to vote for this motion, who go for this motion, please raise the placard. This motion failed. And now we'll move to the last motion, motion by Spain, a moderated caucus to discuss about solutions to periodic tasks. And the total time will be 3 minutes, and each for 1. Delegate who would like to go for this motion, please raise a placard. This motion clearly passes. And now we'll move to the secondary general speaker list. And delegate who would like to be put on the speaker list, please raise a placard. Delegate of Spain, Canada, and Burkina Faso. Now delegate of Spain may have the speech.
Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, I am the delegate of Spain. Spain has been developing tourism in the last few decades and has created numerous job opportunities. In 2010, we are the 4th most visited countries comparing with the entire world. Hence, Spain would like to provide help on the long-term goals, which is to offer jobs in order to lessen the number of people in trafficking danger. Thank you. Y'all back to chair.
Thank you, delegate. And the next delegate, the delegate of Canada, may have the floor.
Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, Canada wants to express that building a database can also be a good way to solve the problem in the long term. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate of Canada. And you have 40 seconds left.
Now to the next speaker.
Thank you, delegate of Canada. You may return to your seats. And delegate of Burkina Faso, you have an extra time of 40 seconds. You may have the floor.
Dear Chair and dear delegates, Burkina Faso is impressed with all the measures coming out. However, we still need to remind all countries that those long-term goals can be attained only when certain solutions take place at first. Because if the current problems are not solved, then it is quite possible that those long-term goals are useless. So as a country deeply related to human trafficking, we think that destination countries should offer temporary residence certificates for those in need, and then send them back when they acquire working skills and basic living abilities. The source country in return should lower the taxes or by other ways to pay them back. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. You have 20 seconds left. Thank you, delegates. And now the previous motions have expired. Are there any more motions or any points on the floor? Yes, delegate of Russian Federation. Corrected. Delegate of Afghanistan.
Motion for a moderated caucus for 5 minutes to discuss about letting the people in human trafficking danger receive education.
Delegate of Afghanistan, you motion for a 5-minute unmoderated caucus to discuss about letting the people in human trafficking danger receive education. Are there any more motions? Any points? Seeing none, now we'll move to the voting procedures. The delegate of Afghanistan motion for a unmoderated caucus for 5 minutes to decide whether to have the traffic danger to people education or not. Now, delegate who would like to go for this motion, please raise a placard. This is a procedure vote. Every delegate has a vote. This motion clearly passes. And now, delegate, you have 5-minute unmoderated caucus. It starts right now. Sorry, delegates, I would like to remind all the delegates that do not turn off the microphone off stage because you need time to be power off. So don't turn off when you're not finished. Delegates, the time is up. Please return to your seats. And before we move back to a general speaker list and recognize any more motions or any point, the chair would like to remind delegates that we all received a working paper 1.1 from Turkey and a working paper 1.2 from Burkina Faso. And the volunteers have delivered it to your desks. You may have a look. And since we have 2 working papers on the floor, the chair suggests to motion for a moderated caucus to discuss both working paper 1.1 and 1.2. So are there any motions or any points on the floor? Yes, delegate of Turkey. Volunteers, do you mind passing the microphone, please? Delegates of Turkey.
Delegate of Turkey motion for a 4-minute moderate caucus to discuss about the 2 working papers, and each delegate will have 1 minute to address their speech.
Pardon, delegate of Turkey. Delegate of Turkey. You motion for a 4-minute moderated caucus to discuss the 2 working papers, right? Okay. The delegate of Turkey motioned for a 4-minute moderated caucus to discuss about the 2 working papers. And each delegate will have 1 minute to address their speeches. Are there any more motions or any points on the floor? See none, we'll now go through the voting procedures. Delegates who would like to go for this motion, please raise your flag up. We need a simple majority. This is a procedural vote. Every delegate has to vote. This motion passes. And now, delegates who would like to be put on the speaker list, please raise your flag up. Yes, delegate of Indonesia. Do you need a microphone?
I need to use the bathroom.
Thank you. Delegate of Indonesia, you may go. Alright, are there any delegates who would like to be on the list? Please raise your placard. Delegate of Turkey, delegate of Burkina Faso, and delegate of Canada, and delegate of Bangladesh. That's all. And now, delegate of Turkey, you may have the floor. You have 1 minute.
Honorable Chair and all delegates, Turkey appreciates some countries' opinions, so we included Spain's idea of creating working opportunities and also Afghanistan's about education in Working Paper 1.1. Hope all delegates can read it thoroughly and make further comments or discussions later. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. You have 38 seconds left.
To the Chair.
Thank you, delegate. And now, delegate of Burkina Faso, you may have the floor. You have 1 minute to deliver your speeches.
Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, the delegate of Burkina Faso still considers that short-term goals are much more essential. So in WP 1.2, we submitted the idea of temporary residence certificates and temporary career training programs. We hope that the countries that haven't spoken yet could participate in our blog and move on quickly to our draft resolutions. Thank you, Chair. Thank you all. And I will give the time left to the Chair.
Thank you, delegate of Burkina Faso. And the next delegate, the delegate of Canada, you may have the floor. You have 1 minute.
Honorable Chair, all nations, Canada stands with Turkey about long-term solutions, and we are willing to be the founder of the database, which we have mentioned before. Canada also knows that short-term goals should be carried out, but without a precise goal, there won't be an incentive to improve the situation. So we call on all nations to reconsider joining us in our draft resolutions later. Thank you.
Delegate of Canada, you have 38 seconds left.
To question.
The delegate of Canada yelled her time to the question. And delegate who would like to question, please raise your placard. Delegate of Russian Federation. Yes.
A database has already been established, but this is obviously not working as it should be. How is Canada going to solve this?
We will create a supervision system and train professionals to do deep investigation and researches. And also the participating country will make the information more complete. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate of Russian Federation and the delegate of Canada. The next delegate, the delegate of Bangladesh, you may have the floor.
Honorable Chair and dear delegates, Bangladesh is also a lower developed country suffering from this issue, and hence we stand with Burkina Faso on the short-term solutions. Bangladesh hopes that the well-developed country should take more detailed investigation on the real and current situation in these countries, instead of using their own point of view to express ideas that only benefit themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. You have 32 seconds left.
Yes, Chair.
Thank you, delegate of Bangladesh. Before we move back to the general speakers, the chair would like to mention that because of the time limited, the chair would like to have a potential draft resolution handed out later. The chair expects for a potential draft resolution. So are there any motions or any points on the floor? Yes, delegate of China.
Motion for an minority caucus for 5 minutes to discuss on potential draft resolutions.
Thank you, delegate of China. The delegate of China motion for a unmoderated caucus for 5 minutes to discuss on potential draft resolutions. Are there any more motions or any points? Seeing none, we'll now go through the voting procedures. Delegate who would like to go for this motion raised by Delegate of China, a motion for a unmoderated caucus for 5 minutes to discuss potential draft resolutions. Please raise your hand up. This motion passes, and now delegates, you have 5 minutes to discuss the potential draft resolution. Delegates, if there is any problem or any question, you may come to the chair and ask the items. Thank you. Delegates, the time is up. Please return to your seats. Hurry up, please return to your seats. Delegates, delegates. Okay. Now, are there any motions or any points on the floor? Delegate of Bangladesh.
Motion for introducing potential draft resolution 1.1.
Thank you, Delegate of Bangladesh. The Delegate of Bangladesh motion for an introduction of potential draft resolution 1.1. And before we go through the voting procedures, I need the sponsors to help come up stage and have a brief statement. So the sponsors of potential draft resolution 1.1, please come to the floor. Delegates, do you need one more microphone? You can start right now.
Honorable Chair and dear delegates, Bangladesh wants to say that in Draft Resolution 1.1, we put strong emphasis on short-term goals, which is a consensus reached among Bangladesh, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, and Philippines. We consider that it is extremely urgent for these lower developed countries to acquire emergent support than to get long-term help, which was what the other bloc have strongly suggested.
Also, we have included some more detailed information about temporary residential certificates in Clause 3, subclauses 5, 6, and 7. Furthermore, Philippines has agreed to offer career training programs, which was what I've been doing for the recent decades. Hope the countries that are still neutral can support us and pass DR 1.1. Thank you.
Thank you, sponsors. You may return to your seats. And now we'll go through the voting procedures for the introduction of Draft Resolution 1.1. And delegates who would like to go for this motion, please raise your hand. This is a procedure vote, so every delegate has to vote. Vote for the introducing of Draft Resolution 1.1. This motion passes. And are there any more motions or any points on the floor? Yes, Delegate of Canada.
Canada motion to introduce potential draft resolution 1.2.
Thank you, Delegate of Canada. The Delegate of Canada motion to introduce potential draft resolution 1.2. So before we move to the voting procedures, we need the sponsors to come up stage and have a brief statement. Delegate of the sponsors of draft resolution 1.2 may come up stage and have a brief statement.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, Canada has reached an agreement with Russian Federation on a database project which was previously mentioned by us. Russian Federation will also offer technical support and Canada will be responsible for data collection and organization.
And about educational programs, Turkey has some progress with Yemen, who will be the center of Arab area's educational programs. As for Europe, Sweden and Spain will cooperate to improve the hardware and software facilities of those countries in need. We strongly call on all countries to focus on our draft resolution and vote for draft resolution 1.2. Thank you.
Thank you, sponsors. Are you done? Okay. May we return to your seats. And now we'll start the voting procedures. Delegate who would like to go for this motion, the introducing of potential draft resolution 1.2, please raise your placard. This motion passes. And are there any more motions or any points on the floor? Delegate of Spain.
Motion for a roll call vote.
Sorry, we have to close the debate first. And then
motion for closure of debate.
Thank you, Delegate of Spain. The chair says corrected. Delegate of Spain, motion for a closure of the debate. And we need 2 against to close the debate. Delegate of Canada and Delegate of Russian Federation. Delegate of Canada, we need a microphone, please.
Canada technically against.
Thank you, Delegate of Canada and Delegate of Russian Federation.
Russian Federation technically against.
Thank you, Delegate of Russian Federation. And now we'll move on to voting procedures. Delegates who would like to go for the closure of the debate, please raise your placard to close the debate. This motion clearly passes. And now, are there any more motions or any points on the floor? Delegate of Saudi Arabia, South Africa.
South Africa motion for the roll call vote.
Thank you, Delegate of South Africa. Delegate of South Africa motion for a roll call vote. And delegates who would like to go for this motion, please raise your placard. This motion passes, and now we'll go through the roll call vote. Delegate, when the chair reaches to a country name, you may answer yes, no, abstain, and pass. And delegate who reply pass, the chair will ask you later, and you may only reply yes or no for your decisions. Thank you, delegate. And now we'll go through the roll call vote. Delegate of Afghanistan? Delegate of Afghanistan? No. Delegate of Bangladesh? Delegate of Bangladesh? Yes. Delegate of Brazil? Delegate of Brazil? Yes. Delegate of Burkina Faso? Delegate of Burkina Faso? Yes. Delegate of Cameroon? Delegate of Cameroon? Yes. Delegate of Canada? Delegate of Canada? No. Delegate of China? Delegate of China? Pass. Colombia? Delegate of Colombia? Abstain. Indonesia? Delegate of Indonesia? Yes. Iran? Delegate of Iran? Pass. Iraq? Delegate of Iraq? No. Philippines? Delegate of Philippines? Yes. Delegate of Russian Federation? No. Delegate of Russian Federation? No. Delegate of Somalia? Delegate of Somalia? Yes. Delegate of South Africa? Delegate of South Africa? Yes. Delegate of Spain?
Absolutely no.
Delegate of Spain? No. Delegate of Sweden? Delegate of Sweden? No. Delegate of Thailand? Delegate of Thailand? Pass. Delegate of Turkey?
Obviously no.
Delegate of Turkey? No. Delegate of Yemen?
No.
Delegate of Yemen? No. And now we'll go through the countries who have replied pass in the second round vote. Delegate of China? No. Delegate of China? No. Delegate of Iran?
Yes.
Delegate of Iran? Yes. Delegate of Thailand?
Yes.
Delegate of Thailand? Yes. Please hold on a second for the calculations. With 10 countries for and 9 countries against and 1 abstaining, this draft resolution passes. Are there any more motions or any points on the floor? Delegate of Somalia?
Motion for adjournment of the meeting.
Thank you, Delegate of Somalia. The Delegate of Somalia motion for adjournment of the meeting. And Delegate who would like to go for this motion, please raise the placard. This motion clearly passes, and I announce the New Emphasis on the Nations Conference General Assembly as closed.